Imagine you win the lottery. Not just a small lottery, but the kind that completely changes your life. One day you're checking your bank account before buying groceries, and the next you're staring at more money than your grandparents, your parents, and probably your future children will ever spend. At first you're ecstatic. You call your friends, celebrate, and buy things you've dreamed about for years. But then something strange happens. A few months later, your happiness starts fading. A year later, many lottery winners report feeling completely normal again. Some even become less happy than before. That raises a disturbing question. To understand why, we need to travel back almost 200,000 years. Meet your ancestor. Let's call him Greg. Greg lives in a world with no supermarkets, no hospitals, no police, no internet, no food delivery apps, and definitely no motivational podcasts. Every morning he wakes up in a world that wants him dead. Predators, disease, starvation, rival tribes, one mistake could end everything. Now think about Greg's brain. Would evolution reward a brain that constantly felt satisfied? Probably not. Imagine Greg finds food, eats, feels happy, and then spends the next week relaxing and enjoying life. Greg dies and his genes disappear. Now imagine another Greg. He finds food, feels good for 10 minutes, and then immediately starts worrying about tomorrow. Maybe there won't be enough food. Maybe a predator is nearby. Maybe another tribe is coming. This Greg survives. He has children, and over thousands of generations, nature quietly selects brains that are extremely good at survival. Not happiness, survival. And survival has a strange requirement. You need to constantly notice problems. Think about it. A caveman who ignored danger because he was enjoying the sunset probably didn't become your ancestor. The paranoid guy hiding behind a rock probably did. This means your brain evolved with a built-in negativity bias. Bad news grabs your attention faster than good news. A single insult can ruin your day, while 10 compliments barely move the needle. Your ancestors who focused on threats survived longer, and now you're carrying their software. The problem is that you're running Stone Age software inside a modern world, a world filled with things your brain never evolved to handle. Take social media. Your brain evolved to compare itself with maybe 50 people. Now it compares itself with millions every day, every hour, and sometimes every minute. You open your phone and immediately see someone richer, someone more attractive, someone traveling, someone getting married, someone buying a house, and someone achieving your dream. Your brain interprets all of that as important survival information, even though none of it actually helps you survive. But the brain doesn't know that. It's ancient technology. Imagine handing a smartphone to a medieval knight. He wouldn't know what he was looking at. Your brain is doing something similar. It's trying to process the modern world using rules that were written before civilization existed. And this creates another problem, the hedonic treadmill. Here's how it works. You want something, and you're convinced that getting it will finally make you happy. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a promotion. Maybe it's 1,000 subscribers. Then you get it, and it feels amazing. For a while. Then your brain adapts. Suddenly, the thing that once felt extraordinary becomes normal. The promotion becomes your job. The dream car becomes your car. The new house becomes your house. And before long, your brain starts searching for the next thing. Not because it's broken, but because it's doing exactly what evolution trained it to do. If satisfaction lasted forever, motivation would disappear. So the brain keeps moving the finish line forever. Which sounds a little cruel, but it gets even stranger. Scientists have discovered that anticipation often creates more pleasure than possession. In other words, your brain sometimes enjoys wanting things more than actually having them. Think about planning a vacation. The weeks before the trip are exciting. You imagine the beaches, the food, the adventure, the freedom. Then the vacation arrives, and somehow it never feels exactly like the fantasy. That's because your brain loves the chase. It loves the pursuit, the possibility, and the future. The reward itself is often secondary. And suddenly, a lot of human behavior starts making sense. People dream about success, achieve success, and then immediately create new goals. Not because they are ungrateful, but because that's how the system works. Now let's talk about anxiety. Most people think anxiety is a flaw, an error, or a malfunction. But from evolution's perspective, anxiety is often a feature. Imagine two ancient humans hearing a rustle in the bushes. One ignores it. The other assumes it's a predator. 99 times out of 100, the worried human is wrong. But on the 100th time, the predator is real. The anxious human survives. The relaxed human becomes lunch. Evolution doesn't care about comfort. It cares about survival. So it rewards false alarms. Thousands of generations later, here you are worrying about emails, interviews, text messages, and deadlines. Your brain is treating modern inconveniences like potential tiger attacks because, biologically speaking, the difference isn't as large as you'd think. But perhaps the strangest feature of all is loneliness. Humans are social animals. For most of history, being rejected by your tribe could be a death sentence. No tribe meant no protection, no food sharing, no cooperation, and ultimately no survival. So evolution created a powerful emotional system that makes social rejection feel painful. Literally painful. Brain scans show that social pain activates some of the same regions involved in physical pain. In other words, your brain treats exclusion as an emergency because, for most of human history, it was. And suddenly things start connecting. Why criticism hurts so much? Why embarrassment feels awful? Why people fear judgment? Why strangers on the internet can ruin your mood? Your brain isn't asking, am I happy? It's asking, am I safe? And those are not the same question. Not even close. This leads us to the most unsettling realization in the entire video. If your brain's primary mission is survival, then happiness is often just a tool. It's a reward signal, a temporary incentive, something that nudges you toward behaviors that increase your chances of survival. You get a burst of happiness, move toward a goal, and then the feeling fades. The mission is accomplished, the system resets, and the cycle begins again. Over and over. But before you conclude that life is some cruel evolutionary scam, there's an important twist. Humans develop something unusual. Something evolution never fully anticipated. Self-awareness. You can observe your own mind. You can notice the system. You can recognize the patterns. You can understand that every thought isn't necessarily true, every fear isn't necessarily real, and every desire isn't necessarily important. And that changes everything. Because once you can see the machinery, you're no longer completely controlled by it. You start noticing when your brain is catastrophizing, comparing itself to others, chasing another finish line, or inventing threats that don't exist. And strangely, that awareness creates freedom. Not perfect freedom, but enough. Enough to choose different priorities. Enough to stop measuring life through endless achievement. Enough to appreciate moments that evolution never optimized for. A conversation with someone you care about, a sunset, a laugh. A quiet afternoon. Things that don't necessarily improve survival, but dramatically improve life. Which brings us back to the original question. What if your brain was designed to make you miserable? The answer is both yes and no. Your brain was never designed to maximize happiness. It was designed to maximize survival, and sometimes misery is simply a side effect of that process. But understanding this changes the game. The moment you realize your brain isn't a happiness machine, you stop expecting it to be one. And maybe that's the real secret. The goal isn't to defeat your brain. The goal is to understand it. Because once you do, something strange happens. The constant pressure to be happy starts fading. And in a weird twist of irony, that's often the moment happiness finally shows up.